We have the ball.
Oh my.
Oh, two already. Two already.
So as you guys can see, there's a lot to unpack here because I don't just want to talk about whether YK Osiris was right or wrong. He was clearly in the wrong because there was absolutely no consent there. But I want to first talk about is not only the reaction from the public, but the body language that we can see in this video and what that body language is representing. Oftentimes, we are in situations where we feel uncomfortable, so body language is definitely going to speak louder than words. So let's watch this clip again, starting with the guy in the purple. We see when he first realizes what's happening, he's surprised, but doesn't know what to do. So he looks to little Duval for what he should do. Now looking at Duval, who sees, and they both agree that this is okay. Duval also turns away and pretends like he doesn't see, which gives the guy in the purple the cue of what to do, which is to look away as well. This is a common human reaction to have because when you're uncomfortable with the situation and you don't know what to do, you will look to other people for the group reaction, for the right reaction. You will also look away in order to avoid that uncomfortable feeling that you're getting from what you're seeing. Notice how quick little Duval was to look away. Men are well versed in quote unquote minding their own business. The saying, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything, comes to mind. Because group mentality and herd mentality will lead you astray and will lead you to do the wrong thing in that situation. I'm sure looking back, all of these men wish they had done something, but in that moment where you don't want to be that guy, sacrifice the right thing to do to instead remain comfortable, because we all know in this situation, by the faces that they are all making and by their body language, they know that what's happening is wrong and that they should stand in, but in order to stay with the guys, or in order to keep your own comfortability and keep from being ostracized from the group, you choose to sacrifice this woman's safety and comfortability instead. So now that we know why everyone in this video was wrong except for Sukihana, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Sukihana is a proponent and participant in hoe culture, 304 culture. And while I don't have any direct quotes, I mean, let's be real, we all know what it is. The only confusion is the idea that being a proponent or a participant in hoe culture leaves you open to and believe that that is an excuse for SA or any type of misconduct in that nature. It's super easy. Well, it really wasn't that easy, but it's easier now because time has passed for people to believe that it doesn't matter what a girl is wearing or if she's drunk, then she can't consent. It's easier now to believe that those kind of arguments are valid, but how can you argue that a 304 doesn't want it, or that a 304 doesn't need to consent, or that a hoe deserves respect too, and that women's sexual desires has nothing to do with the amount of respect that they have for themselves, or any person for that matter? The hard part is explaining to people that there is not one thing that can take away your dignity or respect. It's hard to believe that people can express themselves in different ways and still garner respect. It's hard to argue that everyone deserves respect. And in my humble opinion, I truly believe that it is only because people are thinking about themselves and how they can always place themselves above others. Outside of money and status, sometimes all we can hold on to is our dignity and respect. But it doesn't feel the same unless we're disrespecting or depriving others of their dignity. And this is super apparent when it comes to dynamics of race and gender and sexuality and age. In any area where we're able to categorize, we stratify. And we make these stratifications not in order to better understand the world, but in order to find out how we're going to treat people either better or worse than us. And it's sad how we have to degrade people in order to feel good about ourselves, and how we have to justify violence against other people in order to dehumanize each other in order for us to feel more human. And that may seem like a dramatically deep way of seeing it, but it really isn't, because we are constantly finding ways to invalidate each other's experiences and finding ways to not feel empathy towards each other because we're constantly dehumanizing each other. Someone should have stepped in. Period. Someone should have stepped in. All of them should have stepped in. But at least one person should have stepped in. But because of the way that we view each other and the way we view people who are sexually explicit, it inhibits us to act out our basic humanity. So in order to pass this message down a little further, or maybe even incite some empathy within you, I have some questions to ask. If you were with your friends or colleagues and you were joking around with someone that you don't really know that well, and you were making a joke about them having your phone. Yeah, you can just take my phone if you need to text. You don't have to give it back. That person proceeds to wrestle your phone out of your hand. And you clearly don't want to give that person your phone. And your friends or colleagues do absolutely nothing. Are they wrong for not doing anything? Here's another one so we don't compare people to objects. If you know how to fight, say you're like a black belt and you know how to fight, and someone comes up to you and starts pushing you to get you to fight them, would that person be wrong? Just a couple examples for you to think about, because it seems like people are so desensitized to violence against women, and specifically violence against black women, especially in this new era that we're in terms of the red pill and men really banding together to, I don't even know what to call it, subjugate women. So even with that, I'm expecting to see a lot of commentary from red pillars that will say, oh, I don't support violence against women, but she had it coming. This is what happens when you 304s don't respect your own self.
Out more than what it is. Suki done went fed, but I get it. Bro was wildin'. Heck of dudes probably did way worse to her behind closed doors. She only acting like this because it was in public view and because of who it was that did it to her. I really don't understand, because she disrespects herself on the internet.
But for culture, whole culture, women acting crazy, with autonomy doing too much. Yeah. So I'm expecting a lot of commentary like that, but if you are really not a misogynist and you actually love women, then you would be invested in the idea of protecting all women. I know this day and age that seems like almost impossible of an ask because of the mentality men currently have, but if you are not invested in protecting all women, at least leave women alone. Give people their personal space, their boundaries, and consent. Even if you don't want to protect black women, you can still leave them the heck alone. And with that said, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in. I hope you learned something, and if you didn't learn something, then I hope you didn't learn something because you already knew it. Have a good one. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if I should make another video about the responses that I saw, because I think this might be a hot topic for debate, which it really shouldn't, but I guess if a conversation has to be had, let's have it. Let me know what you think about this whole thing in the comments. Also, Sukihana, I know you will never, ever, ever hear this, but I stand with you, and I am sorry that you were violated on a public platform and that no one came to your rescue. You deserve to be protected, you deserve to be cherished, and all that great stuff.